up, guys? Chris VA Travels. I'm out here in the valley, Shenandoah Valley, just outside of Harrisonburg, and visiting the Brethren Mennonite Village. Yeah, they're open every day. Well, Wednesday through Saturday, 10 until 5, Monday through Tuesday through appointment. Here's the Welcome Center, and here's a quick look at the village. There's a log house right there. Just says brick house right there. And yeah, you'll see the mountains. All right, let me go ahead and check in. All right, made it inside the visitor center. And I'll let you know that the tour is free, but they do appreciate donations, so you might want to bring some cash. And to tell you, the Mennonites, they were a group of Anabaptist Christians that trace the roots back to the Reformation. And the name Mennonite derives from cleric Menno Simons. And Anabaptists were those that were rebaptized, and they believe that baptism is only valid when candidates freely confess their faith to Christ and request to be baptized. The Anabaptists, of course, were persecuted, and this is St. Lambert's Cathedral in Munster, Germany, where Jan of Leyden and 2 other Anabaptists were tortured and killed. Their bodies were placed in these cages on the steeple for all to see. Picture tells the story of Dirk Willems. Takes place in the winter of 1569 in Asperen, Holland. And he had just been jailed for being rebaptized. He escaped by climbing down a tower onto a frozen moat. The guard that chased the heavier guard fell into the water. Dirk, hearing the cries, decided to obey Jesus' command to do good to those that hate you. So he rescued the guard. The guard wanted to let him go, but had to follow orders, so Dirk was tied to a pole and burned to death. This is the first Brethren baptism. It took place in 1708 in Schwarzenau, Germany, and this rebaptism took place on the Eder River. This is the first wave of Brethren landing in America. That would be in 1719. And Alexander Mack, who was the first minister of the Schwarzenau Brethren, he and others arrived about 10 years later. And they're carefully watching over their freedoms as the new colonial government of Virginia was created and beginning to issue laws affecting its citizens. During the American Revolution, the Brethren and Mennonites were often misunderstood. They were unwilling to take up arms on behalf of either side, and it made life difficult for these peace-loving people. This communion tray and cup are believed to have been used in the early Flat Rock congregation of Brethren settlers. The Tonker House in Rockingham County. The original portion goes back to 1798, and it was used up until 1830 for worship services by the Schwarzenau Brethren. The Joseph Funk House in Singer's Glen, Rockingham County. Built by Joseph Funk, he was a leader in the Mennonite community and an influential music theorist. He developed a system of shaped notes to represent each pitch on the scale. His singing schools taught this system and promoted the valley's rich a cappella heritage. This is pretty interesting. A 100-year-old portable organ could be folded up into something the size of a suitcase and then carried on horseback. Yeah, here it is, folded up right here. A few miles away, a good place to visit is the Brenneman Turner Mill, pre-Civil War grist mill. Display talks about the Civil War and the obstacles the Mennonite and Brethren faced. They were considered Unionists because of their refusal to fight. Many fled west and north to hide behind Union lines. And then in October of '64, after General Sheridan's burnings had rendered the valley a wasteland, over 400 wagon loads of Brethren and Mennonite moved north. 450 barns burned, 30 dwellings burned, 31 mills, and that Brenneman Turner Mill that I mentioned earlier, it was set fire, but actually rescued by a 70-some-year-old lady that lived across the street. This is an old corn cellar, comes from an 1829 farmhouse, and its metalworks are original, but the outside casting was rebuilt. Alright guys, we'll take a tour of the village. First stop will be the brick house. And to let you know, it was moved up here on this hill about 25 years ago to make room for the high school that was built down below. Okay, in the kitchen. Like I say, I don't get out to this part of the state very often, so should be some pretty interesting items to look at in here. Modest sized cooking hearth. And if anybody knows what this is, let me know in the comments. Pretty interesting. This pie safe is pretty large. It's original. And the guide had told me that they bake pies almost every day because the homeowners had 18 children. And you'll see all the ingredients up here. Here's a jar of that sorghum made here in the valley in Dayton, Virginia. And next time I see this in a gift shop, I think I'm going to buy some and try it. Life was a lot different back then. No running water. They had to bring in water from the cistern to fill up this tub, which would probably take several trips with this bucket. A more modern butter churn right here, and I guess this was probably a big deal at the time. On to the dining room with a couple of copies of the good book on the table. A couple shawls hanging, a Mennonite hat, and a long coat to stay warm. It's a pretty large cradle, or pretty long, I should say. And is this this a cage so the baby can't get up? Alright, so the women's attire over here, the bonnet. This would be the Myers family, and they lived here during the 20th century. Pretty nice looking family. Collection of rocking chairs. And neat design on the crest rail here. Wow, okay, and an interesting design on this one. Cool kind of spindles or design on the back there. Shell design back here. Wicker seat on this one. And this is a serious corner cabinet. Back here holding the china. Behind the glass here, this is the original wallpaper the restorers found. Caleb Burkholder, born 1857, died 1891. So yeah, just lived 34 years. Photos of how they brought the house up the hill here from below. Good map right here of the valley. You'll see the thin Massanutten Mountain right there in the middle. Harrisonburg to the left. Old safe out of Montgomery Ward's. Yeah, really nice reed organ back here, or a pump organ. Yeah, a lot of interesting items in this house. And she said the school children play on this thing sometimes. Photo from the 1890s of the Burkholder family, and Martin Burkholder, he's the one who built the house in 1854. Alright guys, headed upstairs, and the Joseph Funk room. Wow, look at this. Yeah, trundle bed underneath. And of course, rope bed. And wow, that's a solid piece of furniture right there. Wooden rocking chair back here. And you can good look at the bell. Chamber pot, a little desk right here, and something to freshen up the room. Just take a closer look at this bedspread. Kind of fancy. Homemade pillow. That's a pretty small closet door, and with a smaller one on top, pretty interesting. And let's head across the way to the Holler Ziegler room. I'm sorry, the Roller Ziegler room. All right. pretty neat pools right here. And you see how the top would fold down and sit on top of these little arms that would pull out. And it's pretty neat right here. These swivel mirrors were popular apparently. Wenger heirloom artifact. And these are obviously going to be original floors. Kind of a vase back design on this chair. From my trips out here to the valley or the western part of the state, these wicker chairs, pretty popular. All right, a little wash stand right here. Brush. And what's in here? Oh, just hay. Oh, probably to stuff the bed, I guess. See what's back here. Oh, a couple more children's room. All right, yeah. Pretty neat things back here to look at. And what is this? Polly Pet household set. Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass. Wooden high chair. Beaded jump rope. They've got this closet open. How do you tell who's who with these little checker pieces? What is this thing? It says Cootie Game. This style of blanket was popular, obviously. And rope bed, well, I guess this is probably a trundle bed, just sat in here. Make my way over to the last room. And sewing room. Oh, all right, nice quilt right here. And cotton block pattern, quilted by Sarah Hoover, 1919. Standard sewing machine. All right, another one over here.
Last couple quilts. And this pattern right here obviously was pretty popular, with the little kind of tassels hanging off. Maybe that's a trademark for the Mennonites. This one's circa 1879. All right, guys, let's take a walk into the wash house, going back to 1840, and this is where the women would have worked. All right, some milk containers, first thing. Pretty old baskets. Candle maker. You see these handmade nails. Some lanterns over here. And pretty big hearth on this thing. Probably did laundry in this big cauldron. Oh yeah, and they've definitely burnt some wood in there. Oh, and you know, this is the washing machine right here.
This is an older version. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it does have.
And you can turn that handle, is it just, yeah. All right, yeah.
Neat.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Haven't seen one in action like that.
Well, you move it back and forth instead of pulling it in and out. But if you look at that, I mean, that is the style that people are.
I'll see the little. Interesting. Old ironing board, obviously, right here. Oh, I see. It's got the little cloth to hold the hot iron. Oh, more sorghum over here. Make some molasses. That's how they would sweeten things. They didn't really have much sugar out here. Some hogshead, and it looks like this is where they make soap. Yeah. Lye soap.
Lye soap.
Old time lye soap.
They did something.
Pretty steep stairs. Oh yeah, thin tin roof right here. You can really hear the rain coming down. But this was a smokehouse up here, and I thought I smelled kind of a meat kind of smell when I walked in. I could kind of tell. Yeah, it's probably just caked into the walls. Wow, that's a really old table. And I kind of worry about this floor. But okay, not too much up here, but yeah, pretty cool that this was the smokehouse up here. There's a trunk over here. All right. So, all right, pretty neat. Head back down.
That's when they wash or rinse the clothes in there, and then they have to stir it.
Okay.
It's called a beetle. B-E-A-D.
Oh, okay.
The beetle.
The Brass King, top notch. Huh.
It's supposed to be a 19th century garden. A JMU class comes every year.
Cistern right here, and there's a tank underneath. She said that I could turn this. Is water gonna come out? I don't know. Well, oh, look at that. All right, that's enough of that. But, and she said I could open. And down there, you see the water down in the tank. Pretty neat. Yeah. Like I say, more items that I don't really see in my part of the state. I'm gonna take a quick walk through the garden, and over here, a little herb garden maybe. There's some spearmint right there. Some lavender, chives, curry. See oregano and catnip. Lemon balm over here. Just a small little vegetable garden. You've got corn, little cherry tomatoes. Yeah, some peppers right here. And yeah, we're getting into, it's almost October, so I'll just walk over here. I see some dried out sunflowers. Oh, more peppers right there. Cabbage. Okay, yeah, some more gourds back there. But yeah, neat little garden. And that's interesting up there. I don't see any of the other chimneys with that design. But I remember when I was up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, I saw a lot of those style chimneys, but they're probably everywhere. That was probably just a coincidence. Okay, all right, on to the next building. Okay, I think we just have bathrooms right there. There's a shed and there's a real nice house over there. Oh, this is the blacksmith shop.
Buy some blacksmiths who had it elsewhere.
There's a tie up your horses right here. And I guess the forge is going to be to the left. Let me get in here. Oh, all right, yeah. Okay, yeah. Let me pull out my, turn my little camera light on. Oh, that's pretty neat right there. We've got some artists in the house. Neat hinge. And you can read up about the village blacksmith. Some kitchen items. Bunch of horseshoes down there. Oh yeah. Okay, kind of a pulley and kind of, I guess, kind of an ox collar type thing right there. All your different saws and wrenches. A small little anvil right here. A bigger anvil. A little star on the side. And, oh, yeah, a whole collection of anvils. Oh, big drill press over here, 1880 until 1930. All right, let me look at the forge, and there's the bellows, operated by J.M. Glick. And stone with a brick chimney. Yeah, here's a one you can crank right here. Champion blower forge. Is that an eagle, federal eagle right there? All right, yeah, pretty cool items in here. Lanterns up there. Neat broom. Okay, all right, on to the next building, and a big barn right here. A raised barn.
It's a carriage house.
Or a carriage house.
We get them out and bring horses up here.
Oh, all right, this is a nice carriage. See the shocks. Yeah, that thing looks pretty comfy. And I guess the Mennonites and the Amish, they know how to do carriages. And over here, this buggy, a little write-up. You can pause and read. Steel and rubber tire buggies out of Bridgewater, Virginia. And I'll end up reading this information later, but want to get it on film. Oh, all right, so an attachment back here. I guess carry all your luggage. Spring wagons. The spring wagon was so named because, unlike the heavier, cumbersome farm wagon, it had spring under the load rather than only under the seat. All right. Being lighter and smaller, it served the farmer's needs better, it says. Oh, all right, so, all right, I had it backwards. I thought it was attached, but anyway, but yeah, pretty fine buggy right here. See a little step up. Okay, and here's the back of it. Oh, that same Thomas out of Bridgewater, the maker out of Bridgewater, Virginia, has his name on the back. But yeah, pretty nice. Okay. So a chicken hatchery right here. Oh, wow, okay. I don't think I've been in a chicken hatchery. Here we are over here. I guess we have some turkey eggs. Bigger, obviously, than chicken eggs. All right, so 3 dozen right here. Egg container. Buckeye. Out of Springfield, I would imagine Ohio, just says O, USA. But incubator, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, this is pretty cool. I haven't been in one of these. The Wooden Hen Incubator. Interesting. So kind of a little lamp right there is what they use to heat it, I guess. Oh, okay.
Keep it the right temperature.
Can't really read that. Little chicks down here feeding. And this is a colony brooder. What is that? Just keep the chicks warm underneath there?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. Wow, some big turkeys over here. Yeah, look at this joker. Wow.
The white one would be the tame one, and the
Huh.
color would be the wild. Just
Ah.
color.
Are they, is he male and she's female, or? He's got a mean look on his face.
I just know one check that out.
I don't know if it's female or not, but
I have to check that out. The first Samuel Blosser was the first one in Virginia to hatch an egg without a hen.
I just found out the Valley used to be the turkey capital of the nation at one time. Wow.
Check that out.
She told me I should fact check that, but a lot of turkeys out here. A farmer's flock of organically raised birds. And over here it says the Virginia poultry industry, 100 years later, poultry is now the #1 product of Virginia agriculture. 1,100 poultry farms are located in Virginia. Yeah, 275 turkey farms. Interesting, so you can check out these statistics. Wow, okay, employs almost 18,000 people. I have now been in a chicken hatchery. Oh, and there's sorghum plants. I thought it was corn, very tall corn, but there's a shot of the back of the brick house. And let me walk over just to see the date on this hatchery. Should say it right here. Wow, it's so relaxing being out here in the mountains. The brooder house, it doesn't have a date on it. What is this over here? During 13 days, September of 1864, so it must have to do with the Civil War. Sheridan and the Union Army, they ravaged the valley. Yeah, in order to cripple the breadbasket of the South. Yeah, burned homes, mills, hundreds of outbuildings. And here's some remnants right here. This lumber and charred logs, they came from the Craun, C-R-A-U-N, and Wise families of Mount Solon, S-O-L-O-N, in Augusta County. And this right here, this was a calf pen. And Union Army again set fire to it. All right, so there's some wooden cows. What did they have in here?
Just various farm animals.
Yeah. This horn got chipped off. Glue that back on. So obviously the schoolhouse, I'm sorry. And what's the date on it? It says 1903. Schoolhouse, another horse tie right there. A little kind of milk container out front. Walk up, got a sycamore growing. I think it's gonna be big. Oh, you say this is sorghum?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, again, how they made molasses. And yeah, how they sweeten things out here. All right. She's gonna work on the door. Oh, well, outhouse back there. Okay, so let me just not pews, but the seating, and of course you've got that stove, pot belt. Oh, she got it. All right. Yay. We do get to go inside.
There's a penny. Did you?
Cove Mennonite Church. It's located about 5 miles southwest of Matthias, West Virginia. Old lantern. And here, Whitmer School in Matthias. All right, I'm a little slow, guys. So we're actually inside the Whitmer School. That makes sense. Built in 1904 in Upper Cove near Matthias again. What is this? In January, I guess Jeff got a lot of stars here. So did Sarah. Poor Jackie didn't get, well, she got one here in November. And looks like a little child's coat right there. Old books. New Physical Geography, I think that says. Old lunch pail. And yes, kept the water right here, water cooler. With the lathe down here. All right, check out the stove. And a lot of iron foundries out here in the valley. Iron King out of Richmond, okay. Yeah, you see a lot of these bank vaults and stoves out of Richmond from back then. And they had lanterns hanging from the ceiling, and there's George right there. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? A is for apple. And 1964. That's not all that long ago. Christmas opportunity. Looks like we've got a limerick over here. There was an old man with a beard who said, "It's just as I feared. 2 owls and a hen, 4 larks and a wren have all built their nest in my beard." So here, a little bit of a newer desk right here. God made the world. Hit your wagon to a star. All right, more old books right here. Hawthorne's A Tale of the White Hills. In green pastures. Bonnet right there hanging. All right, cool. Yeah, it was a schoolhouse. Yeah, pretty cool. Was there a certain signal for when class started, like 2 rings or something, or not sure?
We'll have to ask them.
Oh, be sure to get the outhouse back.
Let me walk back real quick to the outhouse. There's the bell again back in there. See if I can open the door. And yeah, it's a good thing they've got this thing on the side of a hill, I guess. Oh, nicer than most. And was that used for toilet paper? I don't know. And what's in that box right there? And you know what they use the corn stalks for? All right, well, that's the outhouse. Keep on moving. A lot of acorns coming off this oak. All right, so the log cabin back there, built 1826, and it was occupied. People were still living in it up until 1996. That's crazy. It's built with no nails. But yeah, I'll be down there to take a look at it. I just wanted to throw that out while it was still fresh in my head. Pretty neat. So there's a little pavilion amphitheater right here. I guess nothing really historic. Oh yeah, and this is new. Okay, all right. I thought it was going to be a big barn or something. Sign over here, I guess. And there's an amphitheater back in the woods.
Yeah, we have music, a lot of music events.
And they have music events back in the amphitheater, back in the woods. That's pretty cool, actually. Quick, I'll walk down here and yeah, get out of the rain kind of for a moment. All these lights. And okay, I see it. Oh, okay, I see it right down there. Nothing too spectacular, but I'll just show you the little amphitheater. Cool. Yeah, I guess you just sit on the ground, bring a blanket, and yeah, watch some live music. It's a pretty cool little seat they built with that trunk. Lights going all around. Another little stage back there, and it looks like some sort of, I don't know, some electrical cords. I guess, yeah, light up there. Okay, pretty neat. Let me get back on up there. Okay, yeah, power outlets right there. All right. Okay. Back in the 1940s to maybe around sometime in the 1960s, preacher drove around, did revivals, and this is the truck that he drove and used. The whole gospel for the whole world. Harrisonburg, Virginia. Old GMC truck. And what, they just stored logs? Yeah, I think, well, yeah, probably just logs right there. Let me get up under this out of the rain. But Bronc Revivals, the evangelic campaign. I guess I can stand up here and I don't know how well you can see. It's pretty dusty and dirty in there. Oh, can you go in the yeah, let me see if I can go in here. I think I see a lock though. Okay. I don't know if she has a key, but just a handful of sheds. That barn next door is not part of the not part of this village. And wow, great shot of the valley right here. All right, I've got a moment before I get down to the log cabin. I just wanted to tell you about my socials real fast. You can find me on Facebook. I've got an account on Instagram. I'm going to start being more active. If you follow me on Instagram, it's a good way to find out, I guess, where I'm at in real time. I just put up pictures of sites that I'm visiting while I'm there. You can also support me on Patreon if you want to help me get out to more of these places. If you don't want to do that, just hit the like button, subscribe. All that, it helps me out, helps the algorithm. Leave a comment. Yeah, so I think this is going to be the last building, it looks like. And I'm wondering what this outbuilding is. And this is a shoemaker shop and spring house. Okay, so the bottom probably a spring house. 1794, wow. That's probably going out back to when this area was probably first settled, close to it. All right, so we'll first go in the shoemaker shop. Above here, another plank door. All right, so some cobbling tools. David S. Heatwool, and born to German immigrants out in Lancaster County. You can read a little bit about Mr. Heatwool. What does this lamp say? All right. A lot of lace holes on these shoes. And they've got tiny feet, whoever that is. It looks like they'd be a little tight on your toes up there in the front. All right, so you would see this is where he would sit and yeah, work on the shoes. All right, so you would step on that to tighten. Boots often made from horsehide were significantly more expensive than shoes. And family members often shared pairs of boots. He talks about the life of a shoemaker, quality craftsmanship. So, that's a pretty sturdy boot right there. Yeah, I hope this video kind of promotes the site, gets more people to come out. It's a pretty neat place to visit. And box of shoe nails back there. Kind of look like moccasins. Down here, more cobbler kind of tools. Here's the shoemaker shop from 1850. Down here, the collapsed structure pictured 1990. The original limestone foundation was built on the site in 2011. A couple big old mallets right here. All right, let me go down below. Look at the spring house.
Can you lock the door?
Locked.
And yeah.
Oh, good. All right, so let's go down into the spring house. And some water right there. Okay. Let me pull out my phone again. Well, I shouldn't have. Let me open this. Got a couple cleavers on the wall. Ice grippers right here. All right, so right up on the spring house, and as the name suggests, a spring house is a simple structure that was built over a spring, which was a natural underground water source. And the David Heathold, who owned the cobbler shop above, he built this 11 by 16 foot spring house and lived above it until the family house was built nearby. Okay. And another cleaver. Do they kind of use this as a smokehouse also? Some sort of grinder over here. Blackhawk, it says. Blackhawk Scheller AH Patch. Okay. Quick tour of the spring house. Last building is going to be this log cabin. Again, stone chimney. It's going to be a stone hearth. And let me go in. She said she left it unlocked for me. All right, here we go. Cool. Inside the log cabin. And kind of a corner cabinet right here. And this high chair belonged to the Brunk family, 1840s. Elias Brunk, born January 2nd, 1856, sat in this high chair. And yeah, I guess just a little tub for water. Is that where you wash the baby, possibly? I don't really know, but yeah, trunk right here. Okay, yeah, pretty big hearth. And I guess you stay warm while you're eating dinner. Check out the chandelier up here. And obviously you would have had oil lamps up here. Maybe candles at one time too, candle makers over here. Wooden washboard back there. Oh, pretty fancy chair right here. Pretty neat design. Another pie cabinet. So I guess this was a kitchen / dining room. Right up on the wall, family, faith, and community, talking about the daily life of the early Anabaptist settlers. And the Anabaptists were, I guess, a more extreme, I don't know if extreme is the right word, but sect of the Protestants that formed after the Reformation. That's a nice trunk right there. I'm sure this thing was nice and bright and colorful originally. This rifle was made by local gunmaker Alexander McGilvray between 1835 and 1855. Pioneers in the Shenandoah Valley, early faith communities, and the Mulk Meeting House, built in Page County around 1800. It's the oldest meeting house used by Mennonites still standing in the valley. And this talks again about when the Mennonites and Brethren settled in the Great Valley here in Virginia. They were primarily, of course, of German descent, arrived between the 1720s and 1740s. The people as the church, Mill Creek Brethren Meeting House, 1840. So a white picket fence surrounding it. And here's the floor plan. The minister's benches up there, speaker's table. A little light hidden up here. And what do we have over here? 1748, the Martyr's Mirror. Yeah, I hate the glare. Jonas Blasser Bible. So right here we've got feet washing from Peter Need. Baptizing from Peter Need, Theological Writings on Various Subjects, 1850. The bread which we break. Feet washing tubs over here. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. What is this over here? Okay, we've got a write-up. Preacher's bench. Bishop Peter Buckholder, early 1800s, built in 1826. There it is. Pew bench over here. Okay. All right, let me go on up. Wow. Check out these old joists up here. Well, there's a chair lift. Some, what, just tuning forks, huh? Tuning pipes and forks. Collection of baskets over here. Hold your quilts. Integration of the schools. Eastern Mennonite College, Bridgewater College. Camp Bethel. 3 young black women who served at Camp Bethel near Troutville, Virginia. 1944. Write-up says minutes from an 1855 meeting of Valley Brethren leaders on the slavery question. Slavery did not dominate the Valley's economy as it did in other parts of the state. In 1800, for instance, enslaved persons constituted just 10% of the population of Rockingham County, 21% of Augusta, compared to 50% in Madison County and 53% in Albemarle. All right, so over here, Summer Bible School, 1940. Okay, so this bench, it was from the Broad Street Mennonite Church, perhaps placed there in 1947. So, pretty old bench. Brethren attending the March on Washington in 1963. And then the Rockingham Council on Human Relations. Okay, so they did the sewing. There's a weasel right there. Again, the old English song, Pop Goes the Weasel. There's a couple different stories of the source of that term, but a lot of people think it came from they would have these rigged up that after 40 turns, a little thing would go off to alert you and it'd go pop. So pop goes the weasel. Small ladder right here, I don't know what that is. But yeah, this is where they made those quilts, it looks like, with the little tassel things hanging off. Yeah. Purple bee plant. Yeah, I was going to say this looks more like flax. Okay, so flax, linen, of course, wool. There's some cotton right there. What is this? Just dye? Bottles of dye down here. $19.20, so pretty. Okay, last room back in here. Oh yeah, big loom. I got this one covered up. Your cotton. There are your designs right there. I guess you put the imprint on there and you just sew on top of it. Looks like. And okay, here are more of these little kind of stamp things. And the flax comb right there, I think they call it a hackle. And here's the process chart for wool, beginning to end, from the sheep to the dress. I'll hover over. You can pause if you want to see the entire process. Yeah, wash it, and there's the comb. Dye it. Oh, all right, well, and now a process chart for flax and linen. Again, from the flax plant, all the way down to the linen. The hackle and the nitty knotty. Anna Heat Hole Suitors show towel. Tassels at the bottom. Priscilla Blosser Rainey. There she is with her hat on. And check this out, a Chortitza oak tree. And it's propagated from a 17-plus-year-old tree on Chortitza Island in the Ukraine. Wow, it was a favorite gathering place for the Mennonites since 1789. And yeah, I don't recognize the leaves on this thing. Lots of lobes. So that's pretty neat. And it looks like they planted it not too long ago. Oh, planted it in 2013, it says. And I see a little sign over here. And this is a peace oak. It says, so this is the peace oak at Salm, France, S-A-L-M. That's it for the Brethren Mennonite Heritage Center. A good place to check out maybe if you're at Luray Caverns, if you're visiting Massanutten. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. As always, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.